Warning.
You are now tuned in to 7 Mile Radio.
ASD Production.
7 Mile Radio.
Peace, peace, peace. What's up? Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all the social media outlets. You live and we hot again over on Revolutionary Wealth Builders on 7 Mile Radio. We have a magnificent show lined up for you guys today. We're going to be talking about all things real estate. The real estate game, its volatility, and all of the things that's going on in the real estate market and how to win in the real estate game right now. I have some ideas that I want to share with everybody to help them grow their real estate opportunities. Whether you are looking to get into your home to live in, whether you're looking for investment property, whether you are a realtor, whether even if you are connected with the hard money lenders, the underwriters, and any aspect of real estate. I'm gonna share some ideas with you guys as to what you can do in order to, come up. I think that sometimes in this real estate game, we think that if real estate is not selling, that we can't make money. You can make money in real estate even if real estate isn't selling. Real estate is like water. It forms to the environment if you allow it to. Like when you pour water in a square bucket, it forms to the square bucket. If you pour it in a round glass, a cylinder glass, it forms to the glass. Real estate, you can form your real estate ambitions and dreams around any real estate market, whether it's up, down, sideways, or whatever the case may be. And I think that's where a lot of us miss the mark in understanding real estate. We think that real estate must be booming in order for us to get money. And that's not necessarily the case. And so before we jump in and dig deep into this topic, I always got to say what's up to the super producer, 7 Mile Mark.
What's going on, brother? What's going on? As always, man, looking forward to this valuable information that you're here to bring to the people this week.
Absolutely.
Every week you do it, and I learned something myself, so I'm looking forward to it as well. How your week been?
Man, everything is all love, man. Everything is all love. I'm we're a week out.
The first 48 is coming up.
Yeah, we about
right.
We about 10 days out, so we got to get this established first. First 48, a birthday celebration where I'm giving gratitude to everybody that I know and love that will be in the building, and even those that I won't know and love and that I don't know, and I don't necessarily love you because I don't know you. If you show up, it's gonna be love. We're going to have a magnificent time. We're gonna have a good time. If you wanna see me not serious in my element, then you need to be here. One of the things that I get all the time is you never laugh, you're not funny, and none of those could be further from the truth. If people who are around me a lot, they know that I'm very funny and I have a good time everywhere I go. And, but when it's business, it's business. When we having a good time, we having a good time. So I'm going to work real hard all the way up to the 12th, or up to the 11th, excuse me. But on the 11th, if it ain't about this birthday party and about having a good time and about sharing memories and moments, then I ain't about that life that weekend. The only life that I'm going to be about this weekend is first 48, giving all the people that I love gratitude, appreciating all those who have helped shape and mold me, having a good time with them, sharing good information, networking, dancing, eating, drinking, being merry, the whole nine. So we're going to have a good time. If you need tickets, you can that flyer that's always on my page every day, you can hit the QR code and just put your full name in there, and you're going to receive a quick bounce back text giving you all the information to the first 48 birthday party. It's in downtown Detroit, and we're gonna have a good time. We got a private venue in downtown Detroit, and so join us. Or you can call 313-444-2055. This is not just a party. It is also a fundraiser for the Milestones Agency in Metro Detroit, where we service Black boys. And while it is a fundraiser for the work that we do, we won't be doing nothing but playing that weekend. That's it.
Dig it.
Yep. So yeah, real estate, man. So you guys ready for this conversation? on real estate?
Real estate and how to win. Let me share it a couple times for everybody to get in here real quick.
Absolutely. Let me see who we got. I'm going to put some people. I'm getting ready to send for some of my people that I normally send for. Let's talk about. So, what is real estate? Let's talk about what real estate is. Real estate is. It can be land. It can be commercial. It can be residential. It can be. It can be easements. It can be roads. Real estate can be a lot of things. And so I'm gonna see how much ground we can cover. And the reason why this is important is because I want people to start thinking outside the box on how they acquire real estate. Because if they can do that, if they can think outside the box on how they acquire real estate, they can begin to make money in the real estate game in different ways. And a lot of people just look at real estate as buying and selling houses, and that's just not the case. That's just not the case. There are a multitude of things that you can do to be in the real estate game. And so for most people, real estate is a hustle where they're trying to eat. So they wholesaling, they doing deals, they trying to make moves, and you look at that as like, I'm hustling. But one of the most important things that you need to understand in real estate is you need to understand the price of the real estate. It is like any other asset class. If you can understand pricing and how to buy at the right time, that's how you make money. And in order to understand pricing, you have to understand the free market, what they call capitalism. But capitalism doesn't truly exist in America. What we're dealing with in America right now is what I would call crony capitalism. It is a sick, twisted metamorphosis of capitalism that is so destructive that it has everyone hating capitalism. Now, I'm not saying I'm pro or against capitalism in its true form. But what I have identified is that what we're involved in right now is not capitalism. It is a mutated version of capitalism, and it's crony capitalism, because it really doesn't even allow for the average Joe Schmo to come up. The way in capitalism, the average Joe Schmo could come up with the right type of work ethic, whatever. And yes, some people will always get left behind even in capitalism, and that's why it doesn't work for everybody. But crony capitalism is choking off everybody except for those who print the money. And that's the difference. But that ain't what we're talking about today. We're talking about real estate. So instead of traditional real estate, what I want you to do, instead of traditional real estate, what's going on with you, Vince? What's going on, Wes? What's up, Sister Toy Lynn? I want you to start to look at real estate as an overall asset class with a multitude of sectors within it. You got the underwriting sector. You have the construction component. You have the purchase and acquisition of the real estate, the investor. You have the seller. You have the seller and buying agents. So there's a multitude of interworking pieces that are going on. And I say that to say this. There are multiple ways to make money in real estate. So just because I say that the real estate market is the bubble is busting, that doesn't mean I'm saying that you can't get money. Those are two different conversations. You can still get money. So let's start with some things that I've been thinking about. In the city of Detroit, it is very difficult to build on vacant lots. Why is it that the city of Detroit does not allow for a person who owns a lot to just build another home? You guys got to think about that. Think about why they wouldn't want you to build new homes. Do you realize that there have been instances where I've almost bought the same house twice? Because that's how they recycle real estate. I've almost bought the same house twice. I've bought it, sold it, and almost bought it again. Think about that for a second. We're really doing nothing in the city of Detroit but recycling real estate. People will buy it, own it for 2 or 3 years, lose it to taxes, or they'll buy it, own it for a few years, and then they'll flip it. And so what we need to start to push for as investors, as realtors, and as contractors and builders is to get the legislation changed in the city of Detroit to allow for to eliminate the redlining from disallowing the average citizen to build a home on land, because we know that these vacant lots are $100, $200, $300, $400, $500. Now, I came across a vacant lot with me and my realtor. Now, my realtor he's one of the most educated realtors around. He is licensed in multiple states, and we chop it up on life, business, and everything. And as a matter of fact, he turned me on to a guy named Kadar Pittman, who is a builder, because I was getting ready to get a house built. And the dude, Kadar Pittman, said, you might not want to get a house built right now. I build houses. They give me all types of problems. They'll have our project held up. Take that money and do some research on this. This was 6 years ago. He started me down the rabbit hole of studying macroeconomics. Had it not been for the conversation I had with Kadar Pittman, it changed my whole perception of asset classes and put me in a situation. I've studied at the economic school in Stanford online. I've studied Keynesian economics. I've studied Austrian economics. I've been studying economics for 6 years now. And it was all because Kadar Pittman. And it was because my realtor, Kamal Cheeks, who was actually Kwame's younger cousin, put me up on this guy who I was going to contract to build a house, because I wanted to do it. I wanted to see if I could do it. Build a house from scratch and build it up. And of course I was going to sell it, or live in it or whatever, and then sell my house. I didn't know what I was going to do with it, but I wanted to go through that process. I still haven't went through that process yet. So that's an aspect of it that I want to learn. The reason why I do these type of things is so I can teach the people how it go. And so if you do this first, you do this second, then you got to go down to this building, then you got to file this, you got to do this. And so I like to do that process and teach people. But we never got an opportunity to do that because he sent me in another direction, and I'm so happy I met this dude. And we haven't talked. We might have talked one time since. And it just goes to show you that people come into your life for a specific reason. But let me get back to real estate. So anyway, getting back to my realtor, we talk and chop it up about real estate all the time. And while sometimes we may not agree completely 100%, one of the things that we always agree on is that there's always going to be money to be made in real estate, everywhere. And so that, which brings me to my next point. If you're a realtor, get licensed in other states, because when one state's real estate market is in a bubble and pops, some other real estate markets sometimes are on the uptick. Every real estate market is not the same. So you don't just want to be licensed in Michigan. Be licensed somewhere else where you have family and you can go there and stay for a weekend and go get business taken care of, and you can mitigate cost and things like that. Because that's going to be one of the most important things if you're talking about expanding. If you're talking about expanding your opportunities to make money as a realtor. Because when I talk to realtors and I say that the bubble is going to pop, the first thing they say is, no, it's not. Real estate, the demand is higher than
There'll always be a demand for real estate.
Right. And it'll always be a demand for real estate. And the supply, we don't have enough supply. A, B, C, X, Y, Z. And I say none of that really matters when the Federal Reserve is manipulating the interest rates. And when they take the interest rates to a place where there's no loans being generated, houses won't be sold. Which brings me to my next point. You don't necessarily have to get a mortgage. Now, I don't like mortgages. You guys know that. But one of the things you can do if you're going to get mortgages is you use those mortgages to leverage flipping the houses and selling them and making money. I wouldn't get a mortgage right now to live in a house unless I just didn't have anywhere to stay. And now we are at 7%. Now, if you got a mortgage 4 months ago, then you better off than today. If you got a mortgage 8 months ago, then you're better off than 4 months ago. But I'm talking about today. Now, if you have a mortgage, my suggestion is to pay 25% above your monthly payment so you can pay down the loan as fast as possible. Can a mortgage work for you? Yes. If you are young, if you are smart, if you have revenue streams coming in, if you understood what you were buying, when you were buying it, and if you take care of your home and you take care of the maintenance and you make sure your taxes are good, yes, a mortgage can work for you. But generally speaking, most people don't really understand what they are getting into when they get a mortgage. when they get a mortgage, they think that they're going to be able to afford all of the other things that come with a home, when in reality, you need to bake all of those things into the cake on the front end. So you got to pay your taxes. You got to allocate 1 to 2% annually for maintenance. And so you have to take these things into account. If you bake that 1 to 2% in and your annual taxes, and you put that into what you can afford as a mortgage, it will probably decrease what you can afford with your mortgage by about 10% or 8%. And so then you don't want to be over leveraged in your mortgage to where the bills that come with the mortgage are smothering your ability to pay your mortgage, and then you get 73 payments into your mortgage and then recognize that you can't finish out the loan. So this is not for everybody, and I'm not saying don't get a mortgage. I'm saying mortgages are not for most people, and most people don't even understand that a mortgage is not for them. Mortgages are for smart, money intelligent, business savvy people who understand when to buy a house, what price to buy it at, or for a family that you don't have a house and you need to pivot quickly and you understand housing. So if you don't have anywhere to live and you gotta buy a house, get a mortgage. Do what you gotta do. But you shouldn't just be getting mortgages if you have other options or you can do other things. So this is what you can do instead of getting a mortgage. Look at the land bank, look at the Wayne County Treasury auction, and then look at the houses that may have fire damage in nicer neighborhoods. Now, it may not be the best neighborhood. It could be the Warwick area over off of Finkel and Otter Drive, kind of near North Rosedale. It can be the area across 8 Mile when you're aligned with Royal Oak. Royal Oak, right? Ferndale, right at the 8 Mile barrier. It could be properties over there. They be having 3-bedroom frame and brick bungalows, and they typically are $110,000 houses. But if you catch one that needs a major rehab, you might be able to get it, for cash. What my proposition to people are, if you want to own a home, is to buy a home cash and then rehab that property to your specifications. So sometimes you can catch these 3-bedroom brick bungalows on the northwest side of Detroit for like 25 G's. You catch these for 25 G's, it needs not a complete rehab, but you're going to remodel the house all the way. So you buy it, you clean it up, and you just slowly and methodically go through the rehab process, and you turn that $25,000 purchase into an $80,000 beautiful residence. And so over time, over a year or two. So put that money into a property and rehab that property up to your specifications over 18 months to 2 years, using all of the blood, sweat, and tears and dedication of somebody who's hungry to have their own. And then you live in the city in which you were born in, on a decent block, in a house that's all yours, with marble floor, with marble fireplace, anything you want to build. I'm going to tell you guys a story of something that I did many, many years ago when I was 28 years old. So when I was 28 years old, I bought my first house. I bought my first house from the city of Detroit for $12,000. I bought that house from the city of Detroit. I won the auction. This wasn't the Wayne County auction. This is when the city of Detroit used to run the auction, and you had to physically go down there and submit your bid in an envelope with a money order as a deposit. This is old school days. And so I won the bid on this house for $12,000. When I get inside the house, I find out the house only got 2 bedrooms. It was like a 1,500 square foot frame colonial house on the west side on Beachdale, right off of Plymouth. Now the block was decent, but if you know that area off of Plymouth and Chicago, over by McKenzie High School and Drew Middle School, you know that that's not one of the most desirable neighborhoods. Right. But that block was nice, right? So I get this house. The first contractor that I had come over to the house, he said, it's gonna take about $60,000 to rehab this house, man. He said, you got that kind of money? He said, man, I don't even know if I won't even be bothered with this. And I'm going to tell you who it is. It's David's Home Improvement. His crib is off of the Lodge and the Southfield Freeway and 7 Mile. Y'all might know David's Home Improvement. He is very successful. He's a very busy and booked contractor. And he didn't even want to take the job on this house when I bought it. That's how this job looked. So what I end up doing is I ended up going to holler at one of my homeboys in Brightmoor. And my homeboy in Brightmoor had got this glass block bar built inside his crib. And I said, who did that, dog? And he said, my man Ivan did it. And so this dude, Ivan, was this low-key contractor with this Mexican crew. So when I met Ivan, my man introduced me to Ivan. I have been working with Ivan since I was 28 years old. I'm 48. For 20 years, I've been doing business with this man. This man remodeled the room that is now my office in my house that I live in right now. And we first started doing business 20 years ago. That is the mark of a good businessman. And so, to make a long story longer, so Ivan comes stand out in front of the house. He says, man, he said, this is going to be a big project. And he says, I said, you can't do it because my man and a couple of contractors already told me that they don't even want to touch this house. Right. It's weeds growing through the porch. We got to tear the porch out. It's that old asbestos stucco. Oh, yeah. It was, man, the house was just messed up. But when I first looked at it, I was like, yeah, this the one. Let's get it. But upon further review, I probably wouldn't have bought it. But so my man Ivan was like, he stood out front of the house. He was like, man, this is going to be something else. He said, what I can do. And as soon as he said what I can do, I knew we was about to get busy. He said, what I can do is we can break this down into segments. He said, because this house is going to take a lot of work. We got to redo this entire house from the basement, the outside. And you know what? It didn't take $68,000. It took $48,000 to rehab this house. So I had $60,000 in it. When I refinanced the house for $89,000. So I was able to refinance the house for about 31% of an increase of what I had invested in it a couple of years later. And me and my wife, we took that and we went and bought 3 more properties with the 89 Gs. Mm-hmm. Boom, boom, boom. We took one property, rehabbed it starting from 12 Gs, turned it into 3 properties with no mortgage and 1 property with a $500 a month mortgage. So if you're going to use mortgages, you leverage. That wasn't really the premise of the story. The premise of the story was this. My whole goal was to not have a mortgage. But I took my imagination. I had double shower heads. I had marble fireplace. We built an addition onto the house. And I put 3 bedrooms in the house, and it only had 2 bedrooms.
So you modernized it and everything.
Dog, the property was so cold on the inside, it looked like you was walking through a house in West Bloomfield, no cap. I'm talking about we built another bedroom. The bathroom was brand new. We had double sinks in the bathroom, double shower heads. It was crazy. Ivan's imagination was so out cold that he took the house to a whole nother level. We had TVs in the wall on a swivel in the chill room in the addition before that was even going on. This was 20 years ago. Marble fireplace. Crazy. I'm talking about the whole fireplace marbled out. And we had marble in the bathroom. It was marble. The house was nice. It was a really nice house.
Is it still in that condition right now?
No, it's not. Of course it's not. We sold the house, and then we sold the house at a break even because we had already did what we needed to do, taking the money out. Right. And then I guess whoever bought it let it go. But we put vinyl siding on the house. He did the new porch and put carpet on the outside of the porch. And I'm not talking about that green turf.
Right.
We had indoor-outdoor carpet on our porch. When you pulled up on the crib, they was like, whoa. The crib. It was really nice, man. It was a really nice house to entertain in. Right. It was a really nice property. But I said that to say, we only had $60,000 in the house, and it took me about a year to do it. It took me about a year to get that house together. But and he let me break it down into pieces. I didn't pay to get all of this done at one time. It took us time. He was like, well, we on phase 2. Give me 5,500. We on phase 3. Give me this. We on phase 4. And we just kept documenting everything, man. So when I talk about this stuff, it's stuff that I done did. And this house was like 1,500, 1,600 square feet. We talking about 3-bedroom brick bungalows. That's 1,000 square feet. that typically only take 20, 30 G's to rehab them completely. You know what I'm saying? And that's in today's market. So think about, as opposed to getting a mortgage, think about buying your property cash on a decent block in the city and, come back to your city and build something and own it and it be yours, and then invest in your city and make your city better.
That was one thing that I always thought about in the time, and even still right now, where we have a lot of people that have the mind frame of leaving Detroit because there's nothing here. I mean, look at it as plenty of opportunity to build, as opposed to it being nothing here to thrive off of. Like, we have a lot of blank canvases.
Absolutely.
In Detroit yeah.
And I agree with you, and that's what I'm talking about. I moved back to Detroit. I lived in Canton for 6 years, so I know the whole suburban life. So I know when people move to Novi and Farmington and all of this, and some people gotta live out there, because some people, it's like they gotta stay away from the city.
Right.
I didn't want, at one point in time, I was the type of person, because I was just coming out of the streets, that I couldn't be in the city. I needed to remove myself from the entire environment because it was still too volatile and toxic for the things that I had been involved in when I was in the streets. But once I was like, okay, I'm back in the city, man, I was back in the city. And I'm back in the city serving my people, serving my community, man, and it's the best thing we ever did. And but I said that to say this. It doesn't have to be a mortgage for you to own a house. You can own a house cash. So that's my next point. So now we can move on from that point, and then I'm going to make this next point, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the dollar. So this is to realtors. Start to not only expand your work portfolio or your professional portfolio and getting licenses in other states. Start pushing your clients toward buying land. So start studying land in Tennessee, North Carolina, Georgia. Connect with realtors there, and then until you get your license in those areas of the country, you can negotiate 1 or 1.5% of the selling of the deal and sell land. If real estate is not moving the way that it should, pivot to something else that people have to buy. When real land is a hedge against real estate. Because when bubbles form in real estate, this is what you have to understand. And this is why I'm saying land. If you're a realtor, understand what I'm getting ready to explain to you. In investments, we are always looking for a way to hedge our investment. So I play fantasy football, right? So if I'm playing fantasy football, if I have the quarterback in one league, and I'm saying, is the passing game going to win or the running game going to win? I don't play the passing game in both leagues. I'll play the passing game in one league and I'll play the running game in another league, and I'll hedge my bet. I'll hedge my lineup. So that way, if I'm going to win on one of them. You always looking to hedge. So stock investors typically hedge their stock portfolio with a bond portfolio. Because if stocks are down, then the bond market is up because they're negatively correlated. Typically, land and real estate, like urban real estate and rural land, are negatively correlated. And a negative correlation means when one is up, one is down. So real estate is up. So that means that land acquisition out in the rural areas is kind of down. It's rising now because people are getting wind that it's going to be difficult to grow food. So a lot of wealthy people are buying land, but the average Joe Schmo is not out here looking for land. So there's still land to be bought. You see what I'm saying? So as a realtor, what's going on with you, VP? So as a realtor, if I'm a realtor, I'm going to do two things immediately. Number one, I'm going to get licensed in other states. And then number two, I'm going to partner with other realtors in other states so I can get 1.5% on land deals. And I'm going to start to direct my clientele to purchasing land for two reasons. One, because land is negatively correlated to real estate. So when the real estate bubble is up, the land bubble is not inflated yet. And then two, look to build a home on your land once you secure it slowly. See, if you own land, you can build your house real slow. Lay the slab foundation or build your basement. Put up the frame. 3 months later, put up the window. Start to put the exterior together of the frame. put a roof on it. Then you can go in and put in run electricity, run plumbing, put in walls. Then you can start to beautify the home with the aesthetics. You feel me? And you can do that in stages. And you can't get a mortgage in stages, but you can build a home on your own land in stages if you working with the right contracting company. So I'm trying to get people to think outside the box. So if you don't want a mortgage, you can get a line of credit and start to work on a line of credit and start them working on your house, right? So let's say you get a $30,000 line of credit. Peep this. And I don't really do the credit thing, but I'm just showing people how easy it is to, if you think outside the box, to expand what you can do. I get a $30,000 line of credit. I max out 15 G's. I lay the foundation. They're laying the foundation and putting up the frame of the house. They're buying the stuff. You gotta have to have a little bit of other money on the side. You start paying off the line of credit. You pay it back down, pay it back down. You use it again, frame up the house, put the roof on it, pay it down, pay it down, pay it down. You use it again, and then you put this into the house. You take your side hustle money, put some of that in there. You take your work check, put some of that in it. Before you know it, you got a house with a roof framed up on it, and then you can do the interior in the next 6 months. So what buying land does is land allows you to move slow at your own pace. See, a mortgage is, do you got this? Do you got this? Do you got this? Do you got this? Do you got the down payment? Do you got the credit score? Do you got this? And so you rushing, you going back and forth with underwriting, you're doing all of these things, and you got to get this deal done now. Smash the deal. See, if you got your own land that you just go buy $10,000 worth of land, you can say, we're going to build this house over 2 years. Lay my foundation for me. Oh, my foundation is $12,000. Boom. All right, next, we're going to put up our frame. My lumber's $10,000 and y'all going to charge me $8,000 to put the frame up. Boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? Now, roof, my material for my roof is $6,000 and then y'all going to charge me $6,000 for the roof. My doors, and you go slow every 2 or 3 months, and you can go at your own pace. And then when you done, you own a $150,000 asset that you really only put $90,000 in it. You see what I'm saying? But when you get your mortgage, you bought it for $150. It might be worth $160. And so, let me be clear. A mortgage could work for smart people and for people who know real estate. You can make mortgages work. I ain't saying you can't make them work. Some people, you need to put the play down for the mortgage to get your foot in the real estate game so you can get your headquarters, especially if you're a young family. You a young family, you need a headquarters so you can do business where you can think and have peace. So your mortgage is worth more than just the house. It's the safety and the security, getting your baby straight. And then when you're young, you pay it off over 30 years. You only 60, 58 when you're done. So my suggestion to a young family is just pay 115% on your mortgage every month. Pay 15% extra just to knock down that interest so you can get to start eating into that principal. But getting back to the realtors, 2 things. Get licensed in other states. And the other thing is negotiate land deals with other realtors where you get 1.5% on those deals and you get your customers to buy land in other states. Land is going to be the new next thing, so the realtors need to get out in front of that now. When I talk in these real estate groups, the realtors be mad at me because I say the housing market is in a bubble. But just because the housing market is in a bubble don't mean you can't get money.
There's no money.
You just have to be understanding that it's in a bubble, and you have to be able to make those necessary pivots. And if you know that the housing market is in a bubble, and it just so happens that Detroit is in a bubble, but Detroit is not in a catastrophic bubble where when it pops, everybody's going to lose the value of their homes, because Detroit is what they call a linear market. Now, the cyclical markets like California, Miami, New York, Japan, Tokyo, China, when those markets pop, they're going to destroy a lot of people's wealth. People's wealth will be destroyed because the prices of the homes are going to crash at about 50% at first, then 10% every 3 months until it get down to about losing 80% of all of the value of those cyclical markets. That's not going to happen with Detroit because Detroit's prices are not inflated in the same way because real estate is different in Detroit. So, but I still believe that you should have a license in other states like maybe a good one is Ohio.
I was about to say Ohio.
Missouri. those are good places to have a real estate license.
Right, because there's a lot of rural land there.
Well, it's rural land and the housing prices are not crazy. So there's still room to run. There's still room to negotiate and do deals, and everything is not in danger of popping at this particular moment. And so those are my two suggestions to realtors. Get a license somewhere else, and then start looking and learning and understanding land, understand acreage, understanding what a perk test is, a percolation test, meaning where can you put a septic tank, understanding if it's broadband, Wi-Fi, electrical, and water in the area where the land is at. Start to understand the pH balance of the soil, what's in and on the soil. For example, if it's pine trees on the soil, that means the soil is highly acidic. That means you may have to balance the soil if you want to grow directly on the soil. Or that means you may have to put raised bed gardens on the soil for a year or two till you get the soil where you want it. But if you're a realtor and you really trying to get money, learn about land. Learn about the areas that good land is being sold right now. Some places that I would start: West Virginia, North Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia. Those are some areas, maybe Oklahoma. Those are some areas that I would suggest you start to loan those areas. For sure. And because if you can direct your clients to buying land, you can open and expand their horizons to a whole nother opportunity within the asset class of real estate, because they can grow food, they can build their home at their own pace, or they can just buy the land and flip it. So what's going on with you, Quan Fish? And what's going on with your sister Natisha? And think about this. On a smaller scale, some cities, South Carolina is a good place too. South Carolina kind of scared me. I go to South Carolina every year. I don't really like South Carolina that much. But if you got people in South Carolina, that's where you need to be buying land. Well, typically where you should be buying land is where you got other family that you rock with. And so as it relates to land acquisition, when you are if you're in real estate and you start studying land and you start getting with some of these places, man, off the water, some of this land is going to be worth a lot of money. Let's scale back and come back to Michigan for a minute. Albion, Lapeer, Alabama too. Yep, Alabama's a good place. Albion, Lapeer is 35 minutes from here. Do you know they sell acres in Lapeer? They sell acres in Mount Morris, that's right by Flint. They sell acres in Flint. They sell acres in northern Michigan. They sell acres in mid-Michigan. So you can buy acres of land here in Michigan. I got a place where you can go buy an acre of land right now if you can find one available. Belleville, Michigan. Belleville, Michigan is right off the water. You can buy you an acre of land and see the city of Belleville will let you build a house on land. It's not like the city of Detroit. So we're not talking about just buying land somewhere else. If you're a realtor in Detroit and you have a Michigan realtor's license, you should be selling land in Belleville, selling land in Lapeer, selling land in Inkster, selling land in Taylor. Taylor and Inkster have large plots of land where things have been torn down and it's just grass. And people can build things. You can build a cinder block building, a 1,000 square foot cinder block building for 30 G's and sell it for 60 G's. Think outside the box. It's not just about buying and selling houses, because all we doing is recycling the same property. But getting back to realtors, investors, underwriters, and contractors, y'all need to lobby the city of Detroit and force them to soften these parameters in which they're blocking people from building houses. Y'all need to come together as groups of thousands of people, the head of the Realtors Association, and I know the good brother Kamal Cheeks used to be, and we talked about this already. And you know he's so smooth though, he gonna get his deals done regardless. But for the bigger picture, for the average Joe Schmo, the average resident, it needs to be a discussion around allowing for the building of new homes on these vacant lots, fabricated homes. New home construction should be what we doing. And it's because in the city of Detroit, it would be inexpensive. You can build a fabricated home for anywhere between 60 to 90,000. You see what I'm saying? But all these mortgages are 150, 200. So think about that. The next thing I want to talk about, and we got about 15 minutes out, is if you are an investor, start thinking about what's getting ready to happen with the collapse of the dollar. What's getting ready to happen with the so now we are officially in an industrial recession in the industrial sector. So expect industrial sector layoffs soon. And this is not me. This is what the PMI is reporting. I'm not saying this, just talking out the side of my neck. And also expect the service sector to go into a full-blown recession relatively soon. What does that mean? In the city of Detroit, the majority of jobs are service jobs and industrial manufacturing jobs. People are getting ready to be laid off. Once their unemployment is up, we already not getting ready to be buying no houses no time soon because the mortgage, the federal funds rate is up too high. But with that being said, as investors, you have to think about who your target market is when you're buying property now. Because the people that you were selling homes to and flipping these houses to are not going to have the money to buy them. So now you need to start to push to allow. Now, it is legal in Michigan. There is no ironclad legislation in Michigan that you can't build homes in the back of homes, that you can't build tiny homes. You can't build tiny homes on land. They don't promote it. They don't say yes, you can do it, but there's no law against it. You need to just make sure you dot all your I's and cross all your T's. But investors need to start thinking about tiny homes because that's what people are going to be able to afford. We are getting ready to experience the age of minimalism. People are getting ready to move back in with their parents. People getting ready to move back in with their brother. People getting ready to move back in with their sister. People getting ready to start sharing the load on rent. And there will the age of opulence where everybody was renting these expensive properties and all of this, that's getting ready to be done. People getting ready to downsize, and you guys are going to understand what minimalism actually is. People that live in the suburbs, people who've been lifelong suburbanites of all colors that own property in Detroit, what they're going to do is they're going to lose their house in Novi. They're going to lose their house in Farmington, and they're going to move back to the house that they were renting in Detroit. They're going to move back to the house that their parents been owning since the 70s in Detroit. And so you're going to see an influx of suburbanites, Europeans, black suburbanites, and Europeans. You're going to see them moving back to your neighborhood. You're going to say, why are these white people moving back to my neighborhood? It's not really gentrification at that point. At that point, they are downsizing their lifestyle. Listen to what I'm telling you. Pay attention to what's going on around you. White European Americans are moving back into Detroit at a rapid rate. And I'm not talking about in the cultural district or downtown. I'm not talking about gentrification. I am talking about the downsizing of your lifestyle, a lifestyle of minimalism because you can no longer afford your current lifestyle. So let me pin that. Let me dog ear that page and go back to my original point. Investors who have real money, start thinking about housing co-ops. Start thinking about 2-family flats, 4-family flats again. Start thinking about building 3 or 4, a tiny home community. Buy a large plot of land, like a quarter of an acre. Get the run the plumbing. Put all of the tiny houses in a circle to where they have a common area with a fire pit. And they have a common area with a bench or a common area to a playground. So when people walk out of their home, they see this beautiful common area. And then you rent all 9 of those out, all 5 of those properties out at about $900 a month. And you're making $4,500 a month off this plot of land. And because that's what people are going to be able to afford. I know people personally who were calling me like, dog, real estate, the rent is high. $1,500, $1,600 for 3-bedroom raggedy houses. The real estate was going up because nobody was paying their rent because of the rent moratoriums, and then the forbearance programs. It was sending the mom and pops realtors into the poorhouse. People were losing their properties. Those properties are going to go back on the market soon as well, by the way. But my point is that your average regular 3-bedroom brick bungalow was $1,300, $1,400, $1,500. We're going to scale that back and allow people to put them in something that they can afford because they're not going to be able to afford $1,300, $1,400, $1,500, $1,600 a month rent. So as a investor, you have to understand the market and the climate of the economy to where you make the adjustment for your target population, your demographic of people that you serve. It's just common sense business. So now those 2-bedroom homes, I just looked at a 2-bedroom house today. They want $8,000 for the house. It's a two-bedroom house with a quick rehab. Oh, you can't afford $1,500? Well, give me $1,000 for this 2-bedroom house. In 2 years, I made all the money back I invested because it's an $8,000 house. It only 2 bedrooms. You'd only have to put about $14,000 into the house to get it livable. You see what I'm saying? And so that's $22,000. $1,000 a month in rent for 2 years. That's $24,000, and then minus the extras go to the taxes for a couple of years and minimal maintenance. So you just made your money back in 2 years. Now you got a piece of property rent free. But you got to start thinking about 2-bedroom cribs. Start thinking about building tiny homes. Start thinking about building tiny home communities, because this is what people are going to be able to afford. And so I just want y'all to understand that. Let me pivot real quick. These are just the facts. Susan Letitia said these are just the facts. That's currently happening now, where they're downsizing and moving into the neighborhoods. Exact for sure. I see the whites and the Mexicans moving into my neighborhood now. This is why your FICO score is everything. So,
I have a couple of white people that moved into the neighborhood that don't look like they are. You don't want to judge nobody, but they don't look like they are.
They hear
coming
about
from
choice.
Yeah. They don't look like they're coming from a place too well off.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
And so while I'm on the tiny home discussion, if you buy a plot of land, if the realtors are pivoting and using intelligent business practices to expand their professional portfolio in regards to buying and selling whatever, real estate, land, whatever, they'll start to have the plans and they'll have the relationships with the tiny home manufacturers. The tiny home manufacturers, you can buy a tiny home cash out the door, 14 G's. You got to do the interior, 15, 16, 17, 20,000. You know what I'm saying? They like 20 feet by 40 feet, so maybe about 600 square feet in total. They'll have a loft where someone can sleep up on the loft on this end, a loft on this end, then it'll have a bedroom, and then it'll have a living area with all your little amenities or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so for $20,000, you can buy a plot of land. Raise your hand if you got $25,000 in savings somewhere. I know a lot of you do. You buy a plot of land for $3,000 in Inkster, and then you put a tiny home on it for $20,000. You just created a living opportunity for a family member, yourself, or somebody that you can rent to. Think outside the box. You don't have to get mortgages to get into the real estate game. Be prepared to pivot, because this new real estate game, with the volatility of the federal funds rate, is going higher, higher, and higher. With the real estate prices going higher, with mortgage generation down 90%. It's just, if the price is up and the interest rates are up, how are people going to afford a mortgage? So you got to think outside the box and pivot and be intelligent. And so I hope this information helped, and I hope this discussion springs you into your imagination growing on how you can get money in these types of times. Could you also buy those large sheds at Lowe's? Absolutely. So one of those sheds is a two-story shed. And the reason why this is important is, I'm going to tell y'all something, dog. Y'all know, if y'all been following me, I don't talk doom and gloom as much as I used to, because I know y'all feelings be getting hurt. But some of y'all going to be living in sheds anyway. And it's no disrespect or hurt to you. It's just that because some people are not listening and understanding what's happening, it's just the direction of the world. Yep. So some of y'all gonna be living in a finished garage that your brother finished so he can hang out in anyway. Your mother's garage, your sister's garage anyway. So if you should just buy you a little piece of land and get out in front of this, because some people say, I ain't gonna be living in no shed. I ain't gonna be living in no 600 square foot shed. Deck it out and turn it into a living quarters, because some of y'all gonna be doing it anyway. So while the dollar still has value, figure out a way to make sure that you're gonna be good regardless. Also, if you buy land in a rural area, whether it be Lapeer, whether it be Albion, whether it be Alabama, whether it be Oklahoma, whether it be Tennessee, you are away from everybody else. So when you own that land, you can build on that land and you don't have to get permission. You just have to make sure certain things are in order for building code. But the most important thing is when it's your sovereign land, you can do whatever you want to do on it. See, you can't walk out into your front yard and with your pistol on your hip and stand on the sidewalk, but you can walk your land. You can walk all around your land with your AR-15 on you, strapped on your shoulder. It's your own sovereign nation. That's a whole different discussion than standing out in front of your house. If you stand out in front of your house with a gun, the first thing they say is a man crazy outside in front of the house with a gun. Police swoop up, put the guns down, blow your head off. See, you can walk around your own sovereign land as if it's your own sovereign nation, and you can do whatever you want to do on your land. You can shoot on your land. You can grow food on your land. You can have goats on your land. You can have exotic animals on your land. You can't own a tiger in Detroit, but you can own a tiger on your own land. You feel me? And so land is your own sovereign nation. And if you're gonna do anything as a revolutionary wealth builder, it should be to own some land. And realtors should be pivoting their customers to owning land and building something on the land as opposed to buying these old, broke down, recycle houses on a mortgage that are overpriced and overinflated. Pivot so your customer base can benefit from your knowledge, your intelligence, and your expertise in understanding how to navigate volatile real estate home markets, residential markets. Do something different and outside the box. That is my gift to realtors. So when I come back to black real estate investors, the Detroit black real estate investors, y'all stop coming for me. Stop cussing me out. Stop y'all be so scared. Y'all be coming after me.
You're actually trying to help them.
Exactly. And they think
As
that
opposed to hurt 'em.
I'm trying to destroy the real estate market. I'm not. I'm telling you what I see. I've been studying this for years. And you don't have to be let me tell you something. Real estate is one asset class, man. I know what I'm talking about. Y'all should just trust me, man. I'm telling you, it's always a person who has to see things a certain way. And as a realtor, you're not going to see it a certain way because your job is to stay positive and get money in the industry that you're in. And so all I'm saying is that this is going to happen and this is how you pivot to continue to get money. That's all I'm saying. So y'all leave me alone over there in the Detroit Black Realtors group, man, because y'all be real mean to me in the comments, man, when I make statements. I'll post an article. One guy, I ain't even going to talk about that today. But it's all out of love, people. It's all out of love. I'm bringing you this information out of love. Who said something? Could you also? Oh, yeah, absolutely. But those tough sheds for sure. They run about 16 G's. You got my creative mind flowing even more. Those large sheds is around. Well, the 2-story ones are like 15,000, but the one you talking about, the 1-story, they are, and you can turn that into a whole house. I got a guy at Creative Images. Creative Images. This is my good brother. His imagination on building things and making things look good inside a house is so cold-blooded. You buy one of these sheds, he'll turn it into a mansion.
Damn.
He'll turn it into a mansion. And I want you guys to start thinking, buying manufactured home is where it's landing. And you can do that too. Exactly. Well, that's crazy. My cousin lives in Georgia, and he said we need to come together and get some land and put small homes on it. You see, you told me about him, Wes. And so that's what I'm saying, dog. Like, I ain't just talking out the side of my neck, man. I'm talking about things that I'm actually going to practice and do. I know what's getting ready to happen, what's coming down the pike. Think about this. You got Saudi Arabia just said they cut all ties with the dollar. The dollar only had value because it was called the petrodollar, and people had to buy their oil, which is the most important commodity on the planet, in dollars. Now that Saudi Arabia is like, we don't mess with the United States no more, the dollar is getting ready to start to really crash. Then you have North Korea threatening with nuclear weapons, and then you have, hold on for a second. That's my good brother, one of my good brothers calling me on my phone. He don't know that I do a podcast. He all the way in Dallas, Texas. So I'll get back with him. But you got North Korea talking about, we going to be ready to get busy with you, the United States. Y'all keep flying around doing these military drills and around our area. We about to get busy with y'all. So you got that, right? So then you have, what people don't understand about the United States, when the dollar begins to crumble, and they go ahead and dilapidate, they're going to try to go to war with somebody to distract the people from the fact that they destroyed our economy. So you have to be on site and prepared. If you come to my party on November 12th, I am going to share with you some information only for the people in that room that will put you in a position to survive the collapse of the dollar. But you would have to, it's only going to be for the people there, because it all coincides with this whole best dressed thing that I kind of schemed up just so I could have an opportunity to have a very important discussion with the people in the room. So if you come to my party on November 12th, purchase a ticket by calling 313-444-2055 or text message me, or you just click on the QR code, just shoot something at the QR code on the flyer and cash at me, and then I'll shoot you back with your full name. We'll shoot you back a real quick text message giving you all the information that you need to make sure that you gain entry into the party. We're going to have a good time, but I am going to deliver a very important message about all the things that are happening and what you can do to protect yourself and your family. Very important. I said I was going to stop talking about those things on social media because people don't appreciate it anyway, and it puts me behind the 8 ball. So I said I was going to stop doing that. And if y'all were appreciating it, I would do more of it. But y'all don't be listening all the time. So that's that. So yeah, man, that concludes today's show. It's things happening in the world that are going to impact our money, going to impact our dollars, going to impact our ability to spend. It's going to impact our banking. All of these things will be negatively impacted. You guys have to be prepared for these things. They are really trying to collapse this thing and make us desperate so they can institute this central bank digital currency. Make sure that your food preps are good. Make sure you got canned goods, 2, 3, 4 months of canned goods. Make sure you got some extra water, and just be prepared, man. All of this stuff is connected. None of this is separate. None of it is separate. It's all connected and intertwined. It looked like we was banging today on the joint.
Yep.
We was on
Went
fire.
up a little bit. Yep.
Yep. So I appreciate everybody who tuned in. Like, share, and subscribe over on YouTube on Revolutionary Wealth Builders. Go check out my most recent video over there on Revolutionary Wealth Builders that we just dropped about 4 or 5 days ago regarding Kanye West and fictitious wealth. Not to say that Kanye West's wealth is fictitious, but there is a mathematical formula that they use to inflate the wealth of celebrities and people. And I just wanted you guys to understand that. So go like, share, and subscribe. Go over to Revolutionary Wealth Builders podcast right now and subscribe. We should get up to 500 subscribers before Christmas. You can also check this video out at 7 Mile Radio /Black Wealth on YouTube. Make sure you pound that notification bell on both YouTube pages. You can check this video out on my page because I shared it to my page, or you can check it out 7 Mile Update, or you can go to 7 Mile Radio /Black Wealth. Share this video. This was a good video. If you're in the real estate investment groups that I'm in, share this video. I'm going to drop this video in every group. I want this video to help us get money and help protect us and our families from any type of calamity, collapse, or the destruction of the dollar or the deflation of real estate. We have to hedge our bets, people. That's all I'm saying. Peace and love. This was another great episode of Revolutionary Wealth Builders on 7 Mile Radio. We'll get with y'all next Thursday at 11 a.m. You know what? We won't be doing a show next Thursday at 11 a.m. But we're going to get with y'all the following week. I might drop a short video and drop it everywhere and drop it on 7 Mile Update just so y'all can still hear me run my mouth on that Thursday. But I won't be able to be in the studio next Thursday. But the week after next. Oh, and LeBron Mitchell, you are in a great position because right before all of this crazy stuff happened, you were able to make your move. So I'm glad you enjoyed this episode, bro. I'll call you, later on the day or tomorrow or whatever. So yeah, get with me. First 48 birthday party, first 48 birthday celebration, November 12th, undisclosed location downtown. Get with me, 313-444-2055, and 7 Mile Radio will be in the building. Photos, Jay, we're going to be flicking up, taking photos.
Yes,
we're going to take 200 photos. And get ready. Let's get busy. Let's have a good time. I'll get up with y'all not next Thursday, the Thursday after next, 7 Mile Radio, 11 a.m. every Thursday. Get with us. Peace and love. I need you there, Delana Wilcox, your sister. You need to represent my sister if she can't make it, you need to be there and to represent her. All right. Peace and love.
Warning.
You are now tuned in to 7